name is Rob Keefe. I'm the president and founder of Relitix. We are a company that's been around since 2016, and we help leaders make better decisions about their real estate brokerages and teams through the use of data and AI. So usually when I'm here talking on a webinar or doing a video like this, we're presenting some sort of research that we've done on agents or markets or offices and so on. But in this case, we're doing something a little different. This is sort of by popular demand. We're going to talk a little bit about the commercially available AI models out there. Just a quick overview of at least the ones I use. I'm tackling this from an individual perspective, just experience sharing. And then I'm going to show you 5 sort of really cool, I think they're pretty cool examples of how to use these different models with different prompting to help you in your brokerage or team business right away. Even if you're a little bit of a veteran, I suspect that at least something I'm going to show you today is going to be new, and hopefully you'll get some ideas from it. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to throw up an email address. If you shoot an email to that address, it will PDF the slides to you. So yeah, if you don't want to take notes, this is your excuse not to. So let's just start off really quick with an overview of the types of models out there, or say the providers. Now, there are quite a few. I'm just going to talk about these 4 because they're the ones I'm most familiar with. I suspect most of you have used a couple of these, but probably only a few of you have used all. So let's just run through at a high level what the strengths and weaknesses of these different providers are, why you might use them. So we'll start with sort of the OG. It's ChatGPT. And really what it's strong at is buried in the name. It's really good at chat. It's very conversational. The real-time chat, if you haven't played with that, you should try it. They've developed these new reasoning models. Some of them are quite good. You'll see a few of them in action here later today. And something it's really good at is customization. And that is way beyond the 20 minutes we got today. But perhaps we'll do another webinar in the future about how to customize ChatGPT. So I encourage you to dig in if you're interested in that. This is my go-to for anything having to do with the web data. Perplexity has been around for a while. It is, what makes it unique is that it accesses web data as part of just about everything you do with it, and it offers up references. So anytime I have something that I might have put in a Google search last year, I'm probably going to Perplexity now. It is really, really good. Grok, as I put in this slide, it's the best AI you haven't used yet. It's part of the X.com application, or at least it used to be. I think it's somehow peeled off now, but you access it through an X account, formerly known as Twitter. Grok is sort of the up-and-comer in there. Its reasoning models are very, very good, and we'll talk about what a reasoning model is. It excels at mining that huge database of social media. So you'll see that in a little bit as well. It has access to the entire Twitter stream, billions of tweets a day, or whatever we're calling them now, X messages, eats. So it can sort of process all that stuff. Finally, the one that you're probably bombarded with if you're a G Suite user, Gemini. Anytime you're in Google or anytime you're in any Gmail or anything like that, you constantly see the little sparkles. Gemini is also rapidly improving. It was kind of lousy for a while, and now it is a total contender in terms of the quality of the responses. One of the unique parts of Gemini is it allows a gigantic context window, 2 million tokens. So just to put that in perspective, it's about 10 times the size of the context window of ChatGPT's base models. And what is a context window? It's the amount of stuff you can put in the search screen and that it analyzes as part of its results. So 2 million tokens, that's a pretty good sized, almost a short book maybe, that it can then process and answer questions on. I use this whenever I'm asking anything Google related for sure, because I just assume it has the best information. So those are the providers. Let's talk about the 2 different kinds of models within the providers. You're usually asked which model you want to use. And there are subtle differences between these. I'm just going to chop them into two broad categories. The one you're using almost all the time is a general purpose model. It's Q&A based. This is sort of the bread and butter of these search engines. You can see some examples are ChatGPT 4.0. That's sort of like their base model. There's an auto mode in Perplexity. The Gemini that comes out of the box is a general purpose model. The other kind are these reasoning models, and these are the latest innovation in AI. These models have like an internal dialogue with each other. So you'll ask it a complicated question, like a research project, and it will ask itself questions and sort of propose solutions to itself, which it will then evaluate and conduct. Basically it does a little bit of thinking, and then it may take a while. And then it's going to give you like a term paper level answer to it. We'll show an example in that too. You're not really going to use this most of the time, but if you've got a complicated question or some big strategy thing you're working your way through, hit the reasoning model. I think you'll be very impressed with the results. So with that, I'm going to show 5 real life applications. And with these, I'm going to give you the entire thing I put in there so you can recreate this at home. And we're going to start off with a very basic one, which is a brand kit. So a brand kit, for those of you maybe not familiar with the term, this is something maybe called a style guide for a brand. This would be something where your brokerage would establish a color scheme. It would establish sort of a font layout. It would say, this is how we like to write. This is the voice we like to write in. It's a way of ensuring marketing consistency. And 5 years ago, if you wanted one of these, you'd have to hire somebody, and it would cost you a lot of money. But what I did is I just went into Perplexity and typed in this prompt: review this website and create a style guide. And I put in our website. So let's see what it looks like. So here's my prompt. I use the, I've signed up for the paid thing, so I got the pro version, but it's probably going to look the same no matter what version you have. And it gave me a really good style guide. It's got all the stuff that is pulling out of the website, including tone of voice. It's got the logo. It has primary and secondary colors with the hex code. That's what web designers would need to recreate it. You could also send it to your marketing person. Here's the typefaces, the primary and secondary, and it talks about the audience. It talks about design guidelines. I mean, this came back in about 5 seconds. So again, this may not be totally perfect right out of the gate like this. You're going to probably want to adjust it, make sure you review it. But this is really good. And it would have taken, like I said, it would have been quite expensive a few years ago. We're going lightning round here. We got 20 minutes, so I got to show you some other cool stuff. So don't worry, the slides are going to be available. Contract summarization. All right, I'm going to put all the mandatory sort of legal disclaimers in here. This is not an attorney. I'm not an attorney. This is, if you have an important contract affecting your business, have an attorney review it. Having said that, we all have to sign these contracts and terms of use agreements all the time, and they can be quite involved, and very few people actually read through it. So let's see what AI can do. So I just went to ChatGPT, used the base level prompt, and my prompt was review the Airbnb terms of service for guests at the website. Here's where they posted it. Highlight the most significant or non-standard terms which would affect me as a guest. That's all I put in. So let's see what happened. It gave me a pretty good summary. I think probably, if there's apologies to any attorneys on the call, probably as good as like a buddy attorney of mine that I might have sent this to. And they certainly was more careful in terms of reading every single thing. So again, the details of the prompt are important. I wanted it to tell me something. It wasn't just like review it and tell me what it says, because it's going to just give me a summary of the terms of use. There's specific things that I'm looking for, and I just need to ask for it. Now, here's another nice benefit of it. It's now all of the contract is in the context window of this chat, so I can go ahead and ask it follow-up questions. I'm asking about my liability if I screw something up. And it's reading the contract and it's giving me the answer. Now, if this contract weren't online, I could have uploaded it as a PDF and done all the same stuff. So contract summarization for sort of non-critical contracts, very helpful. Okay, now we're going to go into reasoning model. I'm going to show you some real power of this thing. All right, so this is a complicated request, so I'm using a reasoning model. I'm using the O1 model in ChatGPT, and that is their sort of flagship reasoning model that we described earlier. Now, because I'm asking for something kind of complicated, I have to give a bit more of a complicated prompt. So this prompt is what I'm trying to do is put together a marketing campaign to help me secure seller leads in this community. And I'm going to highlight my points of differentiation, the things I want to bring out. Talking a little bit about who I'm marketing to. And now I'm asking specifically what I want from the AI. And you really need to ask exactly what you want. What I'm saying is suggest platforms, methods, contact direction, and timing. And I'm also now telling it what I don't want. I don't want it to try to produce the marketing materials right now. I just want a calendar, a sequence, and give me some direction. And I'm telling you what tools I have available to me, and I'm giving it a budget. Now, I don't expect the AI to like have budget stuff nailed, but it does pretty well. So I put this in. That's the prompt. That's the whole thing I put in. And let's see what comes out. All right. Now, if we were doing this live, you would see it thinking. It would be showing you with its sort of internal deliberations. But what we get here is an overarching strategy, including a budget allocation, and then a week-by-week suggested calendar, including, all right, do this. Week 1, get your CRM going and set up social media and take out your ads in the paper if you're going to do that. Then it's doing email outreach 1, print ad 1, and week 2. I mean, this is it's very detailed. And some of the suggestions are pretty good. You will find that AI actually knows real estate pretty well, or at least knows the basics of how people sell real estate. So it's giving me a week-by-week calendar. It's giving me some content direction, including talk tracks or sort of value prop, how to express that, and some notes on timing. It's giving me basically what I asked for, including some budget stuff. So try this, play around with it, substitute your own sort of marketing desires in there, and just see what it comes up with. I think you'd be quite impressed. It's an excellent consultant, especially for 16 seconds worth of work. All right, time for Grok. So remember, I told you Grok has access to the X feed. Who is on X? Well, a lot of experts, a lot of regular people, a lot of cranks and internet sort of idiots out there, but it's like a combination of everything. So one of the things it's pretty good for is getting the vibe. So now I'm going to move from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin to Sacramento, and I'm going to say, what's the mood for the real estate market lately? What are people saying? And that's it. Let's just see what it comes up with. Now, I won't read through all this, but it gives a pretty good high-level summary of what appraisers and consumers and so on are thinking. It talks about the sellers are returning more than buyers, which has kept the competition alive despite a frozen feel. One thing I really like about Grok is that it talks in a kind of a very casual style. It's almost like the cool guy in the office giving you the feedback. Notice it looked at through a ton of posts. It quoted 9 posts, but it also looked at 15 web pages. So this is not exclusively derived from X data. It is like ChatGPT plus the X stuff on top of it. So sentiment analysis, great use for Grok. Okay, now we get to the one that I just came across a week and a half ago, and I think might be the coolest thing you guys see today. This is how to learn with AI. So I have a daughter in college, and this notebook LM was suggested to me, and I shared it with her, and we were playing around with it, and it was, well, you'll see. I don't want to oversell it. So It's part of the Google ecosystem. It is free. So what I want to do now is I want to learn I want to get up to speed on where NAR is going with their decision on this, on CCP. It's pretty in the weeds. There's a lot there. So help me out with this. So I am going to go to this Notebook LM. I started a new notebook and I added a source. And when you add a source, you can add files. You can add websites, which is exactly what I did. You can also add YouTube videos, slides. You can add any number of different sources, or you can even search for some. I just put one in there, which is NAR's sort of write-up. All right, so what does it do? It gives, think of this as like a classroom for people that learn in different ways. So people learn by reading, and here's sort of a summary. People learn by looking at study guides. So if I have a study guide in here, it gives me a quiz with an answer key. So I can sort of quiz myself to see if I know what's going on. If this thing was more involved, it would have put together a timeline. It can do a briefing doc. But this is the part that kind of blew me away a little bit. I guess there's people out there that just prefer to learn from podcasts. So it actually created its own podcast based just on this web page. So listen to this second.
We were talking before about all the ways to list a property, like all the different options.
Right.
Well, now there are some big changes coming that might really change things up.
Yeah.
We're going to do a deep dive into the brand new policies from the multiple listing service with the MLS.
Yes.
About how people can market.
If we kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, it makes these...
Guys, that is a totally made up podcast just from the web page. It doesn't exist. These people aren't. This is just synthetic voices. So think about this. You've got some complicated concept. You've got something you want to teach the agents about. You've got you're trying to come up to speed on something in CE. Dump it into Notebook LM and learn in your own way, even to the point of building a podcast and exporting it so you can listen to it in the car on the way home and have two fake people talking about it. So that is pretty much the last thing I wanted to show you, other than something that was just kind of fun. Speaking of my college-age daughter, we were on a flight back, and I played with the new image creation on ChatGPT. Just take a picture, ask it to convert it to a cartoon, and there you go. I don't know how my nose got to be so big and dark, but I think it looks pretty much like my daughter. So with that, I am going to return to the slideshow. And here's the email. If you want a PDF of the slides you saw today, just send a blank email to ai@relitix.com. That's AI. And it will auto-respond with the link for you to download this. So that concludes the presentation today. I'll be here for a minute. If there's anybody that has questions, I think there is a question here asking if it's worth paying the upcharge. So ChatGPT costs. They have two levels of subscription. One is $20 a month, and that gets you access to the latest models. It gets you a little better. Things load quicker. If the server is getting overloaded, you get priority. It's sort of a no-brainer for me. It also allows you to do some of this customization that I alluded to. So I do pay the $20 a month to ChatGPT. There is a higher tier. It's $200 a month, and it gets you the AI agent. And we haven't talked about those on this in this webinar. That is a whole separate topic. We do not pay the $200 for that. Although I suppose if you thought an AI agent could replace a VA or something like that, it would be worth it many times over. There's also a subscription tier in Perplexity that I've also paid for just because I use it so much. But if you're thinking like $20 or $40 a month to save the amount of time and energy on some of this stuff, it seems like a good value to me. Question about back to the style guide. So we got the style guide. This asks if it can create the content. So you would think that if you could feed the AI the style guide and you said you could have it create a very cool brochure that incorporated the style guide for something that you could use on the internet or you could post into social media or something. I'm not an expert in image generation. I don't really use it besides fiddling around with create a cartoon out of this picture kind of thing. But we have experimented with trying to generate images with text in it. AI is great at making images, very realistic looking images of people that don't exist, of videos and so on. But what it's been really, really lousy at is putting text in those images. It struggles with recreating text inside an image. So you'll have a beautiful image and then either kindergartner scrawl or gobbledygook. So I would say at the moment, as far as I know, and with limitations on my knowledge of this, I think the AI is great for generating background imagery and stock imagery for these things, but not for creating the finished piece. You still have to do a little bit of work in Canva or Photoshop, things like that. So great. Well, hey, look, I appreciate everybody's time today. It was great spending time with you. I hope that you found something valuable here, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future.